The holiday season is upon us. We've got the gift of the NFL as we're underway here in Week 16. This will be fielded on the back line of the end zone. And from back there, a wise move. He'll just sit on this one, and it'll come out to the 25. So here are the Cowboys now ready to go on offense for the first time. And they will be led out by their 6'4" quarterback. They'll run it now out of the gun. He'll be tackled shy of the 35. Shifty footwork gets him a little extra on the play. These are his numbers from last week's contest. And Charles, how do you think he ran the football?
I thought he definitely had his moments. I did think that they could have utilized him a little bit better, and I'm definitely going to keep an eye on him to see how they're going to use him this week.
He was solid last week, over 100 yards in their victory on the ground. They want to get that going again.
Absolutely. What they also understand is that from week to week, it's not necessarily the same, but they want it to be, right? What they saw last week on the ground, they want to see in this game as well.
But just 4 yards on the pickup, but that's good enough to extend the drive. Offense comes to the line now, 1st and 10. Now a play fake here on 1st down. And that's caught inside the 35. A big play here for the Cowboys. 49 yards. And on this first drive, looks like they want to get that vertical passing game going early.
And they did, and what a warning shot they just fired. If you're not going to back up and play coverage deep, we're going to attack you all game long. And once you adjust to that and you start to back off, then that opens things up underneath. A really nice start for them. Great way to get the game going.
Red zone opportunity. Inside the red zone here, they'll look to throw. And it pops free. The collision there jarred the ball loose and brings up 2nd down. And this O-line, it is the lifeblood of the offense.
They establish the tone. Mean, nasty, physical. They can't wait to get after people. That allows the rest of the offense to feel confident.
Going to give this time to the tailback. Trying to bounce it outside, but he's only able to get it back to the line of scrimmage. No gain on that one as it brings up a 3rd and 10. And we look now at the defense for the Giants.
It's almost become a cliche that when you talk about Jason Pierre-Paul, you start with his athleticism at defensive end. But what I've observed during his career is not only that athleticism, but the craftiness that has grown year after year as he's learned more moves, how to take on blocks, how to get away from people, and still get the quarterback on the ground.
Now Bennett to throw on 3rd down. And he won't have the touchdown, but he will have the 1st down as he's tackled at the 2. They're able to convert on 3rd down, and that sets up a 1st and goal. Well, he did everything but get him in the end zone there, but now they're set up golden opportunity, strong opening drive, and they're knocking on the door.
And the way that they did it, now look where they are on the field, all right? This is naturally set up for a running play, isn't it? But with his ability to throw the football, his accuracy on this drive, you might want to think about a pass play in this situation.
Interesting. Time to find out. Throwing over the middle, but it's incomplete. Down this close to the goal line, 1st down. Surprised that wasn't a run?
I am, and you know I'm old school. I want to run the ball on 1st down in this situation because 2nd down, that gives me an option of running play action and maybe throwing it.
And he will take it in for a Cowboy score. A great play there with touchdown number 12 on the year. And the Cowboys take it all the way down the field and score on the opening drive. One of the keys to their long winning streak has been scoring first. An ideal drive right there, getting the first 6 points of the ball game.
Do you go back to our meeting with the offensive coordinator? Remember what he told us?
Absolutely.
With some teams, I script to probe in the early part of the game. Other teams, I script to attack. They've been in attack mode for these ball games and continue that in this one.
And they're going to wind up with pretty good starting field position as they get it up past the 35. So here are the Giants ready to start their initial drive of the game. And leading them out there, their 6'5" quarterback. He's across the 40, 3 extra yards to the 43. A solid run on first down, gain of 7, leaves him with a 2nd and 3.
Now that's the way you want to start a drive. Talk about a tone setter as well as a playbook opener. Now if you want to take a big shot over the top, you're all positioned to do so.
And he'll give it here to his running back. And he'll take this one across the 45 up to about the 46-yard line. Call it a gain of 3, but not enough to move the sticks. It'll be 3rd and about a foot or 2. And the big boys up front in the trenches. What do you think of the O-line, Charles?
I love them because this is a group that's so cohesive. They know what the man next to them is going to do at all times, and they operate as a terrific unit.
Back to throw. James. Hard throw. Incomplete.
Now that's a great opening series defensively. You force what should be a 3 and out on your opening possession.
And great coverage there on 3rd down to force the incompletion to set up 4th. And the Giants send out their punter now as he's on to punt for the first time this afternoon. He steps into this one, and this is a rocket. And this one will not be returnable as it sails out of bounds. Cowboy offense heading out. Let's take a look at the playoff picture coming into the weekend in the NFC. And the division title out of reach. We know that. This is as good a spot, Charles, as they're going to get. That first wild card and the number 5 overall seed.
So it's just a matter of adjusting now, isn't it? And what I mean by that is mentally. Every team starts the season thinking, let's go for the number 1 seed, right? Being the top team. Number 2 is pretty great, too, because you get the opening bye, and you're at home after that. But it doesn't matter at this point. Just get...
The Red Sea parts, and there he goes. Touchdown, Cowboys. A big play there with his 13th touchdown of the year and 2nd of the game. And the Cowboys are able to show off their quick strike ability. And a pair of rushing touchdowns now for him in the first quarter.
And I'm liking what I'm seeing from his big guys up front because they're winning the leverage game. How many times we talk about low man wins, right? Move the defensive front aside, create those gaps and holes. He's found his way through them for 2 touchdowns.
And after both of those touchdowns, he went right up to that O-line and hit each of them on the helmet. He recognized it.
That's a smart man. You know what else he should do? If this continues, take them all to dinner.
So they hit pay dirt on just 1 play. The long run, the scamper, and a very nice scamper into the end zone for the touchdown. The kickoff team on the field now as they will send this one away. Short kick. It's taken at the 23. And they're going to wind up with pretty good starting field position as they get it up past the 35. As the Giants head back out there, let's take a look at the playoff picture in the NFC. Still a lot to be determined in terms of their final seeding. We do know they'll be in the playoffs, but in what shape, what capacity, we're not sure. But here, ready for a sports cliche, and just take them 1 game at a time, right?
Yeah, they have to. And look, so the thing about cliches, they've been proven over time. All right, we know that. So, yes, take it 1 game at a time, but make sure that there's no let-up, no getting off the gas, right? No mental letdowns, because each one is important for them to accomplish their goals.
And the big meat on the D-line, we'll see how they do today.
And I'd hate to be an offensive lineman having to deal with these guys. They come in hungry, mean, and confident. They think that no one can block them.
They'll run it now out of the gun. And this time not as successful as he'll get back to the line of scrimmage and no more. They'll say no gain on the play there, and now it'll be third down.
And while there was no gain on that run, we do know coaches whose identity is rooted in taking it almost to the limit and then changing things up on you down the stretch. I think we're getting really close to that point in time, though, where the identity map to go out the window, and they've got to go a little bit faster in order to try and win the game.
Call it no gain there, and it leads to a fourth down. Well, there was no blitz. That was just a draw play that, to be frank, didn't fool anybody.
Did we hear the entire stadium screaming draw? Because it felt like everybody was all over that play, and the defense won that battle.
And the Giants send out their punter now, as he'll kick it away for the second time. And he gets this away, and look at this. This is a good one. And problems spreading to the punt team now. This one goes all the way into the end zone on the fly, so that'll come back to the 20. There again is the running back as he trots onto the field. A tough challenge here in this one. We'll see if he can duplicate the numbers on your screen that he put up last week, up over 100 and a touchdown.
We were watching tape to prepare for this game. One thing you noted that I totally agree with, great complimentary piece in the last game. You know, they're able to throw it pretty well. He ran it exceptionally, and they hope to continue that same formula in this game.
Complimentary with an E, not an I.
That's my English teacher right there.
Now a handoff here to his running back. And he'll take this one up close to the 25-yard line. Just a couple on the pickup there, and now it's third down.
Here we go.
Looking to throw. Bennett. And the giant rush gets home as down he goes. Jason Pierre-Paul. He's the one that gets him down. It'll be a loss of 5, and it'll bring up fourth down. You never want to give up a sack. From the O-line's perspective, they hate it for several reasons, especially because they felt like they let little brother down back there in the pocket.
Oh, no doubt. They have a ton of pride, and they go into every job wanting to keep that guy clean. They want that uniform with no grass stains, no dirt, nothing on it, but it's really, really difficult. You're talking about some terrific athletes who are trying to put him on the ground.
And the punt team on now as this one's sent away. Now a fair catch is called for and taken a few yards across midfield. Officially, that'll be marked down as just a 28-yard punt. And it'll be Giant football 1st and 10. As the Giants head back out there, let's take a look at the playoff picture in the NFC. For the moment, they're on top of their division, projected to host a wild card game in the first weekend, but nothing is set in stone. There's a lot of shuffling that can still go on here. They haven't even clinched a playoff berth.
A lot goes into that one word you use, doesn't it? But. You're exactly right, because nothing's clinched. So that means another win is necessary, being able to play to the best of their abilities, because they can go from where they are right now to right out of the playoff race. If things go in the wrong direction for them, they've got to take care of business.
Second down now after the pass completion. And a give this time to the tailback. And he's brought down. We'll give him 10 yards on that one, and that'll earn him a fresh set of downs.
I have to admit, I'm excited by that play call and the end result, because this is a team that's down big early in the first quarter, and a lot of teams will just panic, abandon the playbook, and just start firing the ball all over the place. It's way too early for that. Stick to what works for you.
Down double digits, and we talked about their game plan being both running and passing there. You're right. They're sticking to the game plan, getting the ground game going.
A lot of football left to be played.
Fuller brings it in over the middle. That throw good for 4. It's second down. Second down, and the offense in search of 6 yards. And he'll give it here to his running back. And able to break one tackle, but then quickly brought down. It's a 5-yard gain, but they'll still be a yard short here with third down now looming. Getting the sense, Charles, they're going to put a big emphasis this afternoon on the run game.
And why not? What we're seeing so far, working pretty well from them. And here's the best part. We always talk about the best performers do their job when the lights come on. I think he likes natural light best.
Call it no gain that time, and they're going to be left looking up at a 4th and 1.
On every snap, a defense is trying to establish who they are, but on 3rd and short, that's really when you put it out there and tell people who you are, and that's exactly what they did. For the offense, they're looking at their offensive line and saying, guys, where are you? We need you on those plays.
So the Giants now are going to turn it over to their field goal unit. This a 43-yard attempt. So 1 quarter in the books on a cold December afternoon. 14-0 is our score. EA Sports NFL Sunday returns following this. Alongside Charles Davis, I'm Brandon Gaudin, and it's the Giants with the football here as we begin quarter number 2. And we'll see what the decision is here as they've got a 4th and 1 coming up. And his kick here is good. And they will get themselves on the board here at 14-3. So 3 drives now for this offense, and that field goal gives them their first 3 points.
Yeah, as an offensive coordinator, if you're averaging a point a drive, you're in the wrong line of work. But in his defense, this has been a stifling defense so far. So they've got to start finding a way to unlock them as this game goes on.
It's a short kick, taking it to 15. Ooh, the juke. And they'll be set up pretty nicely here as they have it up to the 35-yard line. A look at the running back, the man out of the backfield as he gears up to go again. And he's found the end zone twice, and now I'm guessing he's thinking, hey, let's find it 3 times.
And you got to figure from the defensive perspective, how has he gotten there twice? What are we going to do to keep him out for a 3rd time? How do we tighten things down? Because he and his offensive mates, they are really in sync right now.
They go play action here on 1st down. Throwing middle, but it's incomplete. Offense still needing 10 yards. 2nd down. Now a handoff here to his running back. And he'll lose yardage. Brought down at the 32. He'll wind up losing 3. And now it's 3rd down.
Well, with the kind of half he's had, I think we can forgive him that run, right? Not every run's going to be a big play, is it?
No, and also the blocking just wasn't there. No room to run.
Yeah, defensively, they got to find a way to build on that because he's eating them alive in the 1st half.
Bennett now throwing on 3rd and long. Oh, he's got a man wide open, complete. And they pick up 25 as they convert on 3rd. Now Bennett on 1st and 10. It's a short one here, complete to his tight end. And he gets this inside the 35-yard line. They get 10 more there, and I believe that'll be enough for another 1st down. It will.
I know exactly what's going to be said about that play from the defensive perspective.
What's that?
That's why I tell all you guys we need more than one tackler to the ball. He broke the 1st tackle. Luckily enough, there were more people there to get him down.
Now here's Bennett throwing on first down. And no escaping this time as he'll go down. They got him for a sack. And that sack certainly just strengthening his candidacy for Defensive Player of the Year. You think he's got that one in the bag yet?
I'm not willing to vote quite yet just because I want to wait until the season's over, but he is really tracking towards it. Just look at all the great plays we've seen from him throughout the season. Strength plays that you referenced there, as well as agility plays. Yeah. They just have not found a way to block him consistently.
Bennett looking to throw on second down. Firing quickly here, and that's complete. And he'll be brought down at the 27-yard line. They get 11 back on that one. It leads to third down. The Cowboys on third down. They've been okay, 2 for 3 thus far. This will be 3rd and 5. Back to throw. Bennett. And no escaping this time as he'll go down. They got him for a sack. And on that one, the protection just broke down.
You've got to have that leverage, don't you? We always talk about low man wins in the running game for an offensive lineman versus a defensive lineman. It's essentially the same thing in pass protection. Get lower than that defensive lineman so that you can keep your balance and keep him away from your guy trying to throw the football.
Out now comes the Cowboys punter as he'll come on to kick this one away. And he'll get this away into the icy winter air. That one sails out of bounds. The side judge will walk it off. And he says it went out of bounds at the 9-yard line. Nice punt. Here's the Giant offense now making their way back out onto the field. And tough to win games if you're going field goal, field goal, field goal here. They got field goal last time. Now they'll be looking for a touchdown.
They're looking for the big chunk now because, as you noted, the field goal way of doing it makes it that much harder and puts more pressure on every possession for you now. Go ahead and get 6 and feel a lot more comfortable about the position they're in.
Bigger chunks. We'll see if they can get the score. 5 yards on the carry. Good pickup on first down.
From this vantage point, that seemed like a pretty dangerous call, running a toss that close to your own goal line. I think what they were hoping is that they were going to get some pressure from the defensive front and maybe beat them to the corner and then turn upfield with a lot of yardage to run.
Got his man complete over the middle. It's Fuller. And brought down, but not before they're able to get it up to the 25. Give them 11 yards that time and a new set of downs. To throw is James on first down. And he slings one that's incomplete. So incomplete on first. Let's see what second down has in store. James going to throw again. Out to the flat. That's complete to his running back. A nice pickup there, 10 yards, and it'll move the sticks.
We always talk about having to read defenses and how complicated that is. Well, this was an excellent read. Read the pressure and got rid of the football before it even got to him for a nice game.
And when they're blitzing like that, running back usually a good spot to go with a football?
Without a doubt, because he's right in your sight line or he's near you. So you're able to just get it to him easily. And once he gets in space, that's usually a good matchup for him.
Now they try the right side here. And he will lose yardage back to the 34-yard line. That's going to go as a loss of a yard, and it'll be second down.
With the struggles we're seeing up front for the offense today, they've got to think about changing up their play calling. Some screens, some draws, some quick-hitting plays in order to try and supplement the run game. You don't totally abandon it, but you try and give it a little bit of help.
A first-half update now from Philadelphia. And it's the Ravens that have moved out to an early advantage. I have a feeling that one's going to stay tight throughout. We'll continue to monitor.
All right, here we go.
Now a handoff as they run left side. And he'll be out of bounds up past the 45. They give him 14 yards that time and a fresh set of downs.
So much for him being bottled up throughout the day. Finally finds a way to break through and get a really nice gain. The defense had felt great about what they had going. Now they've got to turn their attention to getting it back in that direction. Can they bottle him up again? Because I'd say after that run, confidence is pretty high for him.
On 1st and 10, James over the middle, complete. That's Yoder. And he's brought down. Another big hitter there. This one good for 18. And now the passing game here in the second quarter starting to heat up a little bit.
Don't you feel the rhythm starting to happen, right? You see it. Now the confidence is starting to rise. I think now as a play caller, because that has happened, you lean on it a little bit more. You don't go totally away from running the football, but you do say, guess what? We can throw it well with a whole lot of confidence.
So after that big gain, let's see what else the offense has up its sleeve.
All right, here we go.
On 1st down, they'll run it on the draw play. So a nice job to break the one tackle, but not much daylight after that as he's brought down. 5 yards is the tally on 1st down. That brings up 2nd and 5.
Hey, when you get good yardage like that on 1st down, it really does a whole lot of good for your entire offense. But I love the way he's finishing those runs. At the end of things, he's making sure he gets just a little bit extra.
And he'll take this from the 9 down to about the 7.
Well, that call makes sense because they've been throwing it well on this drive. And once again, they show passing formation, showing the shotgun. And they ran out of it. That's a nice play by them defensively, though, to hold it to a short game.
And that is incomplete.
These guys had to settle for a field goal their last time moving the ball down the field. They may have to do it again on this drive. That could be frustrating.
Yeah, I don't want to be cliche, but at least they were able to get 3 last time. 3 here, not the worst thing in the world. And his kick is right there. It's good. And a second field goal here cuts their deficit to 14-6 now. So a good snap, good hold, and that one's right down the middle.
Never in doubt. Just the way you used to hit them, Brandon.
Out is the kickoff unit as they run up and send this one away. And a short kick, taking it about the 16. And a nice return sets them up pretty good here at the 30-yard line. And out now come the Cowboys. And, you know, their previous possession, they were able to move the football, but still wound up punting in the end.
You know, in 2016, Carolina had a 20-play drive that lasted over 10 minutes. And remember how it ended?
In a punt.
Yeah, I mean, how does that happen? You just don't see that happen every day.
This one maybe not quite that bad, but still, you'd like to have a chance for points if you hold the football that long.
Agreed.
And he's got a good gain of 7 up to the 37.
Now, that's a run that warms a play caller's heart because you're actually set up to do whatever you want on offense. You can come right back and run essentially the same play because you have momentum, or you can fake that running play and throw something deep over the top, or you now feel like you have an extra down to play with because if you go ahead and just throw it and you don't get it, come back and try and pick it up on 3rd down.
Quick hitter here, it's complete. It's a 9-yard gain, and it keeps the drive moving. 2 minutes to go here in the first half. We're back to East Rutherford, but first this timeout. A reminder that coming up in 2 minutes, we'll check in with Larry Ridley in Orlando with highlights and analysis of this first half of play.
And I'm going to check in with a heater.
I'm going to be right there with you, partner. Now Bennett to throw on 1st and 10. And a quick throw here, that's complete. And he'll get it into enemy territory just across midfield at the 49. That throw good for 4. It's 2nd down. Bennett now to throw on 2nd down. And he can't get away from the pressure. The Giants get there.
The amount of sacks that they've absorbed in this game is absolutely extraordinary. Let's just face it. This offensive line, flat out, cannot handle this pass rush. It's been demonstrated time and time again.
The Cowboys on 3rd down. They've hit 2 for 4 thus far. This is 3rd and 17. They'll run it now out of the gun. And the play goes nowhere. Losing yardage back near the 40 at the 39. And now the Giants will stop play as they take a timeout defensively. It's just their first, so they'll have 2 remaining here before we get to halftime. So a defensive timeout, chance to regather, regroup, and get set as we resume action. And he uncorks a beauty. Best of the day. And this is going to carry well into the end zone for a touchback. Getting set to go again as we look at the back, heading onto the field again. And a lot of times you talk about establishing the ground game. Probably something they need to do more of here, losing in the 2nd quarter.
When you're riding your best horse, you've got to lather him up. The best running backs I've ever talked to, they've all said the exact same thing to me. I'll even break a good sweat until I get to 20 carries.
You're full of good wisdom. Let's see if they can get him into the game more now. A good pickup there. 8 yards on the 1st down completion. Completed pass play. Now let's see if they go back to the air or to the ground. James now looking to throw on 2nd down. Throwing for his running back, and he's got him complete. Now the Giants will use the 2nd of their 3 timeouts as the clock will stop with 35 seconds to go in quarter number 2. Here's James throwing on 1st down. He couldn't quite hold it. Got hit. Ball pops out. Incomplete. Second down here after the incomplete pass. Now James throwing again. And some space here. And he will avoid the contact as he slides to a stop. The Giants going to burn their 3rd and final timeout as the clock will stop with 21 seconds to go here in the 1st half. To throw is James from the gun on 3rd down. And he's got him. Got his man on the end route. Complete. A good gain of 14 there, and it moves the chains.
One of the selling points of the in route is it gives the quarterback a really nice sight line to his receiver and almost on a direct shot able to throw the ball into the middle of the field and have a great chance of success as they did on that play.
So on 2nd down, the field goal unit is on here as they try to get 3 before half. It'll be a 49-yard attempt from the left hash. So we have reached halftime here with the visiting Cowboys out on top. As we'll send you down the coast to Orlando, where we check in with our friend Larry Ridley and the EA Sports Halftime Report. Larry?
Thanks, Brandon. I'm Larry Ridley, and welcome to our EA Halftime Report. The Giants haven't played their best football and trail because of it. The Cowboys will want to come out after the half and really put the pressure on from the start. So let's take a look at the highlights from the first half. 1st and 10, Hutchinson's found on the quick pass, and he ends up at the 14-yard line before he stopped on the play. Cowboys still on the field. Carroll's got it off the left side here, and he capped off the long drive with a touchdown. Cowboys is up now by 7. Now 1st and 10, Carroll's going to get loose thanks to great blocking. And this long run goes for a touchdown. That puts them on top by 14. 2nd and 2 coming up. Pass will be completed over the middle, and he'll be tackled at their own 48-yard line.
Thank you, LR. Appreciate it. A one-touchdown game here as we get set to resume play in the second half. It's a very short kick taken by an up man. And they're going to wind up with pretty good starting field position as they get it up past the 35. And here comes the Giants offense back out onto the field. They're close game, but they're going to need to do a little bit better probably here in half two, no?
I would agree with that totally. I would guess it in the locker room. They talked about cleaning up some of the errors, but overall, I think they wanted to be positive with them. Guys, we're right there. Just not playing as well as we need to. Let's pick it up, and we still have a chance to win this game.
Yeah, they do. We'll see if they can pick it up. 2 yards on the carry there. It'll be second down. And to give this time to the tailback. Now that play is blown up, losing yardage back at the 35. He lost 2 there, and it's 3rd down.
Well, partner, I guess sometimes it's just a matter of philosophy. Some say run it until they absolutely stop you, and others say, well, when you think they're about to stop you, fool them a little bit. I guess they should have tried to fool them on that play.
Looking to throw. James. Throwing the out route incomplete. It's Yoder. And he's got a first down as he's up to the 48. That one goes for 13 yards, and it moves the sticks. So the offense has it 1st and 10. James off the play fake. And that'll be incomplete. Looking to jam the receivers at the line here. Press coverage look defensively. James now to throw again. Now a loose football. The ball comes out. And it's picked up by the Cowboys. And the possession is theirs at their own 43-yard line. Now we take a glance at the offense as they work their way back out for their first possession of the second half. And right now these guys, they're shuffling a little bit, maybe doubting, because 3 straight drives have ended with them punting the football away.
Yeah, so you start pointing fingers at each other a little bit, asking a lot of questions. What are you seeing? What are you getting? Maybe trying to narrow down your playbook a little bit and maybe get simpler rather than more complex in order to try and fashion together a drive.
And he'll be brought down just shy of midfield at the 49-yard line. So they complete the pass, and now they face a second down. Back to throw. Bennett. And a big loss here as he's taken down.
The amount of sacks that they've absorbed in this game is absolutely extraordinary. Let's just face it. This offensive line, flat out, cannot handle this pass rush. It's been demonstrated time and time again.
The Cowboys on 3rd down. 2 for 5 to this point. This will be 3rd and forever. Looking to throw. Bennett. And the pressure gets to him again.
It's been a tough one for this offensive line. It appears almost like they've been on roller skates this entire game, the way they've been pushed around. 6 sacks given up in this one.
Out now comes the Cowboys punter, as he'll punt it away for the 4th time today. And a fair catch taken here right at about the 40-yard line. No return, but it goes down as just a punt of 31 yards. And the offense will take over with a new set of downs. New York set to take the field. And both of these defenses have been stifling these last few drives offensively. Just not able to get anything going. So what needs to change?
I think a lot of the guys will go back and review, so to speak, because everyone has someone assigned to how did each play work. Okay, what did we use that kind of worked for us during this game? Try and get back to some of those plays, as well as the possibility of showing something you haven't shown already in this game and trying to change things up.
We'll see if they take the advice of Mr. Davis. Back to throw. James throwing the out route incomplete. That's Yoder. And he's brought down. It's a gain of 11 yards that time, and it produces a new set of downs. Fresh set of downs here. Here's James. From the gun, he'll throw. He's going to flip that out to the flat. It's complete. And he maybe makes it back to the line of scrimmage. That's it.
Pass complete, but no gain.
No yards.
Yeah.
So you file that as unsuccessful.
Yeah, you do, don't you? Except on the stats, throwing the ball.
Get a completion.
You get a catch.
Yeah.
But still,
no yardage.
Okay.
Give him 6 yards on the carry. It's going to be 3rd and 3 now.
And once again, leverage wins. The offensive line, lower than the defensive front. They moved them and found some good space for the guy carrying the ball.
Let's go. Green, 39.
Now James from the gun on 3rd down. And incomplete. He had nowhere to throw, so he just tossed it away. But that brings up 4th. So the Giants now are going to turn it over to their field goal unit. It'll be a 49-yard attempt from the left hash. And his kick is good. And that'll get the lead down to 5. So it's a 3rd field goal for him now. He's accounted for all 9 of their points thus far.
And he's definitely keeping them afloat. But we say it so often, field goals are not going to win you games in the National Football League. They've got to find ways to start capitalizing when they get down near the red zone.
The kickoff unit is out on the field, and they will send this one away. And they will not get a chance to return this one as it's through the end zone for a touchback. And now Dallas gets set to take the field. And on the last go-around, they really couldn't get anything going.
They had to punt from deep inside their own territory, which means they're going to lose the field position battle as a general rule. What they're looking for now is a little more consistency, move the ball at least a few times on offense, get a couple of first downs, and hopefully flip the field.
Well, just something to build off of. That's what they're looking for here. And now here's a carry heading left. And he'll get this one up to the 26. Just a yard on the pickup there, and it'll bring up a 2nd and 9.
And that's why you see a lot of teams that like to play 4-3 defense, especially against teams that run the ball really well, because you count on your defensive front, the tackles and the ends, to eat up the blocking in the offensive line and keep that guy in the middle clean so he can roam through the football and make a tackle. In this case, he introduced himself and said, "Hello, my name is Mike."
Wide open receiver complete. And he's taken down, but not before getting this across midfield and just shy of the 40. A very nice pickup of 33 yards.
We just saw him hit a big play there on a deep post. And most of the time, the post isn't available because usually you have defenders in the middle of the field. But if you throw enough curls and crossing routes and underneath routes, I know from experience, they get tired of watching those balls get caught. They start to creep up a little bit, and that's when you can hit them big over the top.
And he's got room. 20. Touchdown, Cowboys. A great effort there. His third touchdown of the game, number 14 on the year. And the Cowboys will add on to their lead. He keeps carrying the ball into the end zone, and in this one, he's sort of carrying the team on his back.
He's the reason that they lead right now, no question about it. And you talk about on his back, he's not minding the extra weight at all, is he? Carrying that just as lightly as he does the football. Yeah, what a great performance so far.
Those 3 touchdowns, it's got him in the lead. Bailey now for the extra point. And this one gives his guys a 12-point lead. So a 75-yard scoring drive on just 3 plays. And a long run there in the end to top it off. Set now to kick this one away, and off it goes. So a very short kick here. This will be taken by one of the up men. And they'll be set up pretty nicely here as they have it up to the 35-yard line. New York set to take the field. And last time able to get 3. It's not what they wanted. They wanted 6, but they got at least something. They mustered something out of the drive.
They'll take it. I like the way you've described it. Not ideal, but they'll take it. Anything to put some points on the board. But this time on offense, they don't even want to see the field goal kicker trot on the field. They want that ball in the end zone.
Yeah, they'll be going for 6. And he'll do a nice job here just to fight his way back to the line of scrimmage. No gain on the play there. 2nd down.
No gain on that run, and while this team is down, they're not out of it by any stretch of the imagination. Maybe you just have to think about different style of running in order to get this guy going.
They'll run it now out of the gun, and he will lose yardage back to the 34-yard line. It's a loss of 2, now 3rd down.
But if these guys are going to chop into that deficit, they're going to have to do a much better job in the run game. Caught behind the line of scrimmage, no yardage to be found.
He will go down. A Cowboys sack.
I remember when I was a kid and all I wanted was a nickel so I could get that soda down at the fountain. And guess what? The nickel came into play well. 5 defensive backs. They covered well. Allowed for the sack.
Sodas were a nickel when you were a kid?
No, I just needed the extra nickel so I could pay the proper price.
Okay, how much were they? A dime? What were they?
15 cents.
And the Giants send out their punter now, as he's on here to punt it away. And this is away. It's a high kick, and he got all of it. Meanwhile, down in Philly. Now, you saw the score at the bottom of your screen a moment ago. We got a good one going on there. We'll keep you updated on that one as it progresses. Here's the Dallas offense now heading back out onto the field. And for them, a touchdown their last go-around. Obviously, they'll be hoping to do that again.
And when you start plotting for this drive, when you start thinking to yourself, okay, what are we going to do? You don't go away from what you did before because that worked. But you have to be prepared for wrinkles and counters because you know they're
under a heavy rush, and down he goes.
This offensive line flat out cannot handle this pass rush. We've seen it demonstrated time and time again to the tune of 7 sacks in this game thus far.
Now they'll run it on the toss. And maybe a measure of revenge there. He's had his way in this one, but this time they get him behind the line. That'll set him back with a loss of 3 on the play. And they're going to be staring at a 3rd and long here.
I don't know about you, partner, but I'm rubbing my eyes after that play. Did we just see that runner not get yardage? A big-time play by the defense. It does happen occasionally, even against the best running backs who are having big days.
The Cowboys on third down. They've converted just 2 for 6 thus far. This will be 3rd and 19.
Here we go.
Now Bennett operating from the gun. He's going to loft one deep over the middle. And got his man complete. And they're going to get this one all the way out across the 45. And that one results in 35 yards. Is going to do it for this third quarter of action. We'll return with more after this break. You're watching the NFL on EA Sports. Back now here at MetLife Stadium. It's the Cowboys with a football. They'll be looking to tack on to their lead as we get set for the fourth. As they run the counter play. And maybe a measure of revenge there. He's had his way in this one, but this time they get him behind the line. On this day, the ground has been his, but at least on that individual play, we just saw the defense finally with a win.
Yeah, they finally got one, and that's a win for them, but all game long, he's seen the holes, and they've been huge for him. Kind of like a baseball hitter in the zone. The ball seems bigger, and he's just whacking it. These guys, they've got it going today.
Ryan Switzer, the one he was looking for. Third down here. The Cowboys on third down. 3 for 7 so far in this game. This is 3rd and 14.
Here we go. 38.
From the gun, Bennett. And the giant rush gets home as down he goes.
The amount of sacks that they've absorbed in this game is absolutely extraordinary. Let's just face it. This offensive line, flat out, cannot handle this pass rush. It's been demonstrated time and time again.
Out now comes the Cowboys punter as he's on for the 5th time here today. And he deserves a bronze leg as he gets this one away. And a little too much mustard on that one. It hits a couple yards into the end zone. A missed opportunity there maybe to pin him back. As the Giants head back out there, let's take a look at the playoff picture in the NFC. And with this deficit, you can't have too many more drives like the last drive where you had to punt it away.
You know what I would tell my offense right here? The punter doesn't exist, guys. He doesn't even exist. He's not a team anymore. I just cut him, all right? So you've got to go out and create some offense for us here and give us some points. No way does that guy get on the field on this drive.
Poor punter.
Yeah, it wasn't his fault. But hey, listen, if we got to be casualties at times, we're trying to win a game.
At this stage, this drive's got to be touchdown or bust because you need 2 of them.
And if I'm the offensive play caller, I'm not just looking at my dagger plays downfield. I'm looking at some of my specials, something that can fool us and give you a big play now.
With a sense of urgency.
No doubt.
To throw is James on first down. Throwing right, and that's complete. And he is out of bounds on the other side of midfield. 15 yards through the air and a first down. And the offense lining up 1st and 10. Looking to throw. James. Fighting Looking through, and he's got space. And he'll be taken down, but not before getting this inside the 30. 23 yards on the play.
Let's go. Boo, Niners. Boo, Niners.
James on 1st and 10. Oh, he had 6 points in his hands there. Couldn't hang on. 2nd down.
This defense was definitely alert to the possibility of the deep ball, and they were more than ready for it.
They've got the lead, 4th quarter. Maybe can expect more passes like that downfield. And he comes back with one complete. And he'll be a couple yards shy of the red zone here at the 22-yard line. 4 yards on the completion, and it sets up a 3rd down. The Giants on 3rd down. They've struggled to the tune of 2 for 8 so far. This will be 3rd and 6. James now. From the gun, he'll throw. Finding his safety valve here. That's complete. And he will take it on in for a Giant touchdown. A great play there with touchdown number 8 on the year. And the Giants have got it back to a one-score game.
And that touchdown ends a streak, for lack of a better word, of 3 field goals that they put on the board previously. They finally cracked the code.
Yeah, they've been down there. They've been in enemy territory, as you said. They just hadn't been able to punch it in until that point. And this is back to a 5-point game. The kickoff team on the field now as they will send this one away. It's a very short kick, taken right at the 20. And they're going to wind up with pretty good starting field position as they get it up past the 35. Cowboy offense heading out. Let's take a look at the playoff picture coming into the weekend in the NFC. And you can see they're in 2nd place in the division, but they have clinched postseason football. They have the best record among the wild card contenders, but you never really feel comfortable when you're down around that 5 or 6 slot, do you?
No, you don't. You figure you've got to close the deal. You've got to make sure you clinch that spot to make sure you keep your place in the tournament, in the playoffs. But the other part, too, is the coaching staff. All year they've talked about.
And this is caught inside the 5. It's a big play for the Cowboys on 3rd. And even 60 yards. And the offense in a great spot. It's 1st and goal from the 3. And he'll give it here to his running back. And he'll get in. Touchdown, Cowboys. A great effort there. A 3-yard touchdown run. And the Cowboys will extend their lead. And that rushing touchdown is 4th, puts him just one shy of the NFL record in a single game.
And we all know he would love to get to that record and even beyond it. But he doesn't need to in order to impress in this one, does he? What a performance. What an absolute great game that he's had here in this one.
Out is the kickoff unit as they run up and send this one away. This fielded a few yards into the end zone. And he won't return this one. He'll go down to a knee, and they'll start at the 25. As the Giants head back out there, let's take a look at the playoff picture in the NFC. And that last drive, a long drive, but not just that. They had a great air attack going. Do they stick with that?
I would think that they would, because if they were competent enough to do it on the last drive, starting backed up in their own territory, why would you change anything? They've got to be confident about what they're presenting and continue to do so.
Yeah, because the secondary, they really look clueless.
And that was amazing because that drive went and went, no adjustments, and no big plays by the defense to knock the ball away.
A really nice pickup of 14 yards, and it moves the sticks. First down and 10 now for the offensive group.
Let's go. Green 35.
Here's James operating from the gun. Got his man complete over the middle. It's Yoder. A good pickup there. 8 yards on the first down completion. Second down now after the pass completion.
Hurry up, here we go. Blue line it.
Operating from the gun. James over the middle, complete. That's Yoder. And he'll be brought down at the 48-yard line. It's a pickup of 6 and good enough to move the chains. So here we go, 1st and 10 now.
Here we go now. 3-19. 3-19.
Now James from the gun, he'll throw. He's going to flip one out here to his running back. And he'll be taken down, but not before getting this inside the 30. And a nice gain of 21 yards. He's having a nice game through the air. His decision-making's been really good. Solid there again. Just seeing nothing downfield, goes underneath. Nice game.
How about the patience? Because when you're having a big game through the air, you're looking for those chunk plays, those big ones downfield. Instead, as you noted, takes the check down, dumps it off, gains good yardage anyway. Really well executed.
Set. Blue line it. Blue line it.
To throw is James. Throwing on 1st down. A swing pass caught. And he doesn't quite make it. They do stop him, but he gets it all the way down to the 1. A good pickup there, 26 yards. Defensively here, you've got the cushion, but back-to-back pretty big pass plays there. Bend but don't break, but are they bending too much?
I think that they are. To me, it'd be like playing basketball, and you put up a token press. Make sure you get up there and make them eat up some time. Make it a little bit of resistance so they can't just run it right down your throat.
2 big plays in succession. Not sure this D knows what hit him, but now they got to get ready. It's 1st and goal. Now a handoff here to his running back. And he's going to bull his way into the end zone for a Giants touchdown. A great play there. His 2nd touchdown of the game and his 9th on the year. And the Giants able to get this back within a touchdown. And Charles, the 2nd time today that he has hit pay dirt.
And once you score the first one, there is that natural tendency, and there's also that eagerness to get back there again. Oh, he smells it. This guy smelled the end zone, and twice he's gotten there.
And this is back to a 5-point game. That time a 6-play drive, and it ends with a 1-yard touchdown run. The kickoff unit is out on the field, and they will send this one away. It's a short kick taken near the 18. And they're going to have really good starting field position here as that's taken up close to the 40. There again is the running back as he trots onto the field. I guess it kind of goes without saying at this point, but he's had a great game, as we like to say, a nose for the end zone, no doubt.
Continues to find it throughout this game, and I'm sure he's got a nice place to live. He might want to make an offer on the end zone for a second home because that's what it's been like throughout this contest. He knows how to get there, and boy, he looks happy when he does.
He's already bought all the property in the end zone. That's the problem. He's going to sell to himself now. Call it a gain of 4 on 1st, and that'll make it 2nd down. And after the play on the ground, that brings up 2nd down here. They'll run it now out of the gun. And he's got some space here. And they're running right through it. And taking it across midfield and inside the 45. They give him 14 yards that time and a fresh set of downs. I think this defense tired of seeing him run the football, and this D-line probably getting sick of the O-line as well.
And as I'm watching this, I'm thinking about a conversation I had with Adam Gase, the head coach of the Miami Dolphins, in the offseason. He told me that he asked his running backs each week for their favorite runs. Give me your 3 top runs. And right now, you're seeing a guy that's probably using his top runs to great advantage in this game.
He is in a zone. Now they'll run it on the toss. And maybe a measure of revenge there. He's had his way in this one, but this time they get him behind the line. They'll wind up losing 3 yards here. And it'll bring up a 2nd and 13. Getting late here in the fourth, and if this team has any chance to win this football game, their defense obviously needs a stop here. Time for a break. We'll come back, see what transpires after this. So the Cowboys in possession of the football here as we get you reset. And let's see what they've come up with offensively after having time to talk it over. Looks like the defense in press coverage here. Going to give this time to the tailback. And maybe a measure of revenge there. He's had his way in this one, but this time they get him behind the line. So the defense had a chance to catch their breath, and now they're back out and ready. Really in a hole here, 3rd and 17, following the 2 negative plays. A handoff as they run the counter play. And they go backwards here, losing yardage back at the 48-yard line. And now with 1:52 to go, we get another pause in the action. A timeout here defensively. All right, so the timeout over and all 11 men back out onto the field for the defense. And he gets it away, a directional kick going toward the sideline. And this punt will go out of bounds. I think it'll be inside the 25, and it will. Right at the 24-yard line is where they'll spot it. And New York set to take the field. And things are starting to move in the right direction. They get the touchdown last drive, then their defense gets them the football back.
Yeah, now they have a chance to get the lead if they can put something together here. And I'm eager to see how they decide to do it. Do they want to be methodical, or do they want to take the big strike and go after it right now?
Back to throw. And it pops free. The collision there jarred the ball loose and brings up 2nd down.
Work with me, partner. Take a deep breath, because that's what they're doing down the field now. That incompletion allowed them to exhale a little bit. Get in the huddle, kind of scan the crowd, see if any celebrities are here. Relax a little bit as they start this big drive.
Back to throw. Oh, there's that man again. It's complete. And he'll take him down at the 31-yard line. The reception good for 7. It's 3rd down. He's back to throw. Got his man complete over the middle. It's Yoder. They get 9 yards there, and they get a 1st down. 1st down now, but the clock continues to move. Back to throw. James. It's a short one here, complete to the tight end. A nice pickup there of 11 yards, and it'll move the sticks. And on the outside, they're playing press coverage. James on 1st down. And he can't hang on to it. That would have sealed it. Instead, 2nd down. Nearly an interception. If that one's picked off, it's over. So a new lease on life, so to speak.
A lot of times when you're in coverage, you're so focused on the man and the coverage that sometimes the ball, if it arrives, it surprises you. That may have happened to him in that situation.
Now he'll look to throw here on 2nd and 10. Over the middle, complete. That's Yoder. And he's brought down. Give him 11 yards that time and a new set of downs. James now on 1st and 10. Got his man complete over the middle. It's Yoder. And he's going to get this inside the 30.
Here we go now. Boom, landed.
Here's James throwing on 1st down. And his throw's going to be incomplete. 2nd down now after the incompletion. Now James going to throw again. And he is out of bounds, but not before taking this inside the 10 to the 7. A good pickup there of 20 yards. Working the sideline there. Good route, good catch. First down, and he gets out of bounds.
Now you have to like the play calling because you have to run some guys down the middle of the field to draw some of the defenders away. They can't just let them guard the sideline exclusively. That's how it's going to work. Sidelines and incompletions to use the clock.
The previous play is under review.
The Giants on third down. They're right at about the league average, 40%, 4 for 10. This is 3rd and 10. They'll run it now out of the gun. Down to the 25. Just a yard on the run there, and that's going to bring us to a 4th down. Clock rolling as the Giants will hurry to the line. As expected, they're going for it to keep the drive alive. And that is incomplete. They had to go for it with such little time remaining, and that's going to be just about all she wrote for this one. Well, certainly not the way that they were hoping that possession would end, failing to convert on 4th.
And now they've got to make sure that they keep their poise, they keep their confidence. Just because it didn't work once doesn't mean if they get that same situation later that they shouldn't go for it again. The defense feels great, but the offense, they can't be despondent.
On the NFL scoreboard, they've gone to the 4th in Cincinnati. And it's the Bengals that wound up winning that one. And we'll keep an eye on that one as our game goes along here. The Cowboys on their way to victory as they take a knee. Now the defense will burn their 3rd and final timeout. And as the two teams talk it over on their respective sidelines, we take a break. Down to a knee one more time, and that should just about do it. The Cowboys on third down. They've converted a 1/3 of their opportunities, 3 for 9. This is going to be 3rd and 13. Well, I know at points in this one you wanted to close your eyes because of all the points that were being put on the scoreboard. You're a defensive guy, but it was a fun little track meet, wasn't it?
It was, and you know the people really enjoyed this game? They're the ones that like going to batting practice at the Major League Baseball parks, right? Seeing the 14-11 game, that sort of deal, that's right up their alley with what we saw in this one.
So for the Cowboys, the wins keep coming as this one moves them to 12-3 on the year. And they'll get another road test next week as they have to go to Santa Clara to take on the 49ers. Meanwhile, for the Giants, it's a loss that could wind up hurting a little as they fall now to 11-4. And they'll look to get back in the winning column next week as they head to Philly to face off with the Eagles. So that'll do it. For my partner, Charles Davis, and the best darn crew in the industry, I'm Brandon Gaudin. This has been a presentation of the NFL on EA Sports. With that, we say so long from MetLife Stadium.